In our last video, not brought to you by Hobbytown, I looked at the difference in the aerodynamic downforce of the C9 with and without the stock wing, and it turned out to not be as effective as I thought. Most of the rear downward pressure on the rear tires came from the wing itself, and only less than half came from the Aero effect, but it did give me an idea. As you can from our earlier video, you notice that anytime you put force on the back behind the wheels, it will eventually raise the nose. So that got me thinking, what if we move the wing farther forward, similar to the Toyota GT1? You can tell that in a modern Le Mans car, they have moved the wing closer to the axle, which gets rid of some of that teeter-totter effect because you're limiting the arm that that rear downforce acts upon, so you have less moment of lift against the front wheels, and it's more pure downforce on the back. As you can see, I've lined them up, and the idea here is to create a wing that, instead of hanging off the back of the car like that, will stand up right here along the edge of the car, and that should be more pure downforce and not quite as much teeter-tottering effect on the nose to lift it up. I've also decided that when I design the wing, the bottom of the wing has to be a little bit longer in order to facilitate a little bit more lift. So that's how a wing works. The lift is created on the side that the air has to travel farther. So once I get the angles right, I'll find some plastic and I will create a wing for you tonight, and I'll get back to you once I get the final shape to it. That's kind of the preliminary shape I'm going for, so that when I get the plastic, I can cut once and it should be all right. From there, I'll just trim it to fit. There it is, cut out and ready to origami up. Once I get it folded properly, it should take advantage of airflow below and above the wing, both. All the homemade wings that I've seen so far only take advantage of wind over the wing, and with conversation with the guy at my track this weekend, I thought, why should I not take advantage of the wind under the wing? Because that's on a plane where the majority of the lift comes from, is that upper cambered curved surface of the wing. I'll let you look at aerodynamics yourself if you like, but I've been an airline pilot for 20 years, so I thought, why not do it the way they do it at work? So I'm going to create a real wing this time. I'll show you what it looks like when I fold it up, and then we'll cut it out of plastic and see what it does in the wind tunnel. That's kind of the rough shape that I came up with. Once it's in plastic, it will be much better. It'll go right onto the car, and I don't know if you can tell in the video, but the bottom surface is completely rounded, curved. The top is flat with a lip at the end. That acts as a flap, and it should provide quite a bit of downforce. I just traced the basic shape onto some clear plastic. Now I'll cut it out. I've kind of started to cut it out and get the basic shape. I'm getting the folds down, and now I want to make sure that it matches side to side with parallel edges, and then I'll do the final cut. It looks like I folded it pretty good, edge to edge. Just kind of looking at it. This will fold, half of this part here will fold under and make that cambered section of the wing. That's why I've made it double wide. But it looks pretty good. I mean, I've got it pretty straight. Just got to cut a little bit. Well, that's what I came up with for the final design. It's taped up and ready. You can see kind of a side profile that it does make an airfoil shape. Picture a wing for an airplane. You can see the basic shape of it. That'd be with the flaps down on a plane. And it's ready to put on the car. I'll color it all later so it looks good and all that, but not too bad. Well, the next step is to find out what my plastic monstrosity weighs, and I'll just throw it on scale real quick. 2.2 grams. That's not bad. Well, there it is, poorly attached, but it's on there. I don't know if we could take a hit on the track, because sometimes the guys we race with will occasionally run into you and smash things up. As you can see, it's not perfect. I don't care. It's good enough. It's slightly wider than the tail. I wish it wasn't, because it was harder to tape on because of that. But I'll grab the wind tunnel devices and see what we get from that again. Got the right amount of wind roughly. Alright, the next step, we'll zero our scales for the front wheels and back wheels. 0, 0. Place the car on, centered. 82.9, I'm sorry, 89.2, 92.3. That is with batteries in it, so I'm going to write that down real quick. Alright, here comes the wind. We'll see if that doesn't change things. At 90 on the front wheels, 95.0 on the back wheels. So this wing keeps a little more weight on the front without taking much. It's not quite as effective because that teeter-totter force does use some of the weight of the front of the car on the back tires because it's now pivoting on that axle. But that's basically straight downforce almost coming onto the wing, onto the car itself right behind the axle. So I'd say it's a little effective, I guess. Not great. This car is capable of more speed than this. It can do 34, 36 with good batteries. We'll ramp it up, see what happens. With the PN50, this car can do about 36 kph, so I'm going to set it at that, and we'll see what it does on the higher speed. The scales are zeroed. Car's on. 89.2, 92.3. Here goes. 92.4. So basically 89 and 92. So we got 3 grams, actually we got 5 grams of downforce from the nose. And almost 7 on the tail. That's not bad at all, really. I don't know how much, actually that's quite a bit. That's 7. I don't know how much drag that's making. I can imagine it's quite a bit. But this does prove that the body combined with the wing does make quite a bit. And before it would have floated the tail for lack of lift, because the body actually makes lift in the upward direction. That is not a bad result. $89.6, $92.5. $95.4. 98.9. That is a cool result. That's downforce on the nose and the tail. That is a good design. I think I'm going to keep that. I'm going to make this my mod car wing. I'll try to figure out a better way to attach it, because if it gets hit from the back, it does want to fold up a little bit. But I should have left a little more plastic on the bottom side that I could wrap around the back. Anyway, I think it's pretty good. I can't wait to try it on my PN50 chassis. And I gotta talk kind of quiet because everybody in my house is asleep. I did move that over to my Hobbytown special here, and looks really cool. I've got the wing retape, so it's a little bit cleaner than it was originally. It's on harder and more securely, and I've cleaned up the look of it quite a bit. So I can't wait to race it on Sunday. I'll let you all know how I do, but pretty happy with the result. I'll see you at the track.